So glad I realized you were recording.
Hi, I'm Kevin Chow. I go by Club Chow. I'm a DJ in Chicago. I'm a resident of Steamworks Baths, and yeah, I decided to chat with Stankbugz today. So. Yeah, so I looked through. There's something. There's a track that I like. Maybe it's a bit of a wild pick, maybe. It's not something I've played recently, but I have played it back when I was a resident at Berlin nightclub. And it definitely goes off. Should I play it, or is it okay? So it's like a I mean, you'll hear it. It's a happy hardcore remix of Sierra Body Party, which is like kind of ridiculous, but here we go. Still Stankbugz, yes. Still Stankbugz.
My phone's hot as fuck.
I feel like there's like two kinds of DJs, and one is like they kind of like push their own sound, and another one is kind of like a more maybe situational like kind of DJ. And I think I'm more of the second, where like I think a lot about like what is the party, what is the like time slot, like who's going before or after me, and like what's the general vibe, and like I also like to sometimes just ask the promoter like what is like one of the best moments or like sets that you remember from the party, or maybe what was something that didn't go well, so you know what like not to do, and I kind of like plan around that of like, and then just kind of like figure out like, okay, well what are some good vibes that I can try to include, and then I build playlists from there, or like take playlists from previous gigs and then move it over into another folder. So yeah, I try to be very situational. I try to not over plan, but try to get a good understanding of like what is the energy going to be, and also like what are the energetic demands, I guess, of like the room, and like what kind of music would suit that. So yeah, I try to think very like situationally, I guess. Yeah, I definitely have been really lucky to get to play and experience like a lot of different scenes, and it's been really cool. Like I feel like I learned something every time. I definitely feel like there's like really amazing stuff happening, and especially queer collectives like around the country. So like most recently I got to play in Boston for this party boudoir, and you know, it's kind of like the people who showed up to the party, they were like super psyched, and the organizers, the promoters are super intentional, like the sound, the lighting, the space, like a lot of thought goes into making a really, really great party in a city that maybe doesn't have as much kind of queer nightlife going on. So when people actually show up in the space, it's like really amazing, and like people are super pumped to just like be there and like have like a fun party. So yeah, it gives me really a lot of appreciation, I think, for all the work that goes into creating like a queer space, and also to just throw a party in, you know, cities that are becoming increasingly like economically hostile or just logistically challenging for many reasons. So yeah, it's really inspiring to kind of see crews that are kind of doing that work. I also was lucky enough to go to Atlanta a couple years ago, and they just have a really great queer scene there with like a bunch of really great DJs. There's like the Gimmick crew. They invited me to do the radio show, and we kind of just like immediately became friends. And then my good friend, DJ NSA or Cameron, like invited me to like play as afters, and like I really had never really hung out with these people IRL, and like just went there for Pride and kind of just like immediately felt welcome and accepted, and was kind of just blown away by how nice everyone was in the scene there and how much fun it was.
This is Irving Park.
As far as like sonically, like I feel like I'm really into like UK vibes, like not so much like a lot of the new KG stuff, but there is a lot of like speed garage kind of stuff on the speed garage bass continuum that I find to be really interesting. There's like producers from Bristol randomly and like London and stuff that I think are producing some really cool sounds, and yeah, I love a lot of like left field kind of sounds as well that are kind of I would say like more on the experimental club side of things. I definitely really I love like kind of freakier stuff. Like there's a producer in Chicago, Linquency, that I really am a huge fan of. Duncan, he's really, I think, a really talented producer in the city, and was kind of one of the inspirations for when I did this party called Club Gauche at Smart Bar, which was really trying to showcase more like kind of left field mutant-y kind of stuff, but still danceable, still kind of bassy and clubby, and works in those types of environments. So yeah, that's kind of, I think I just have a lot of varied musical interests. Like obviously Chicago House is going to be like one of my main kind of influences and what I play a lot in the bathhouse, but I do I feel like I like everything. I really like kind of the new proggy stuff that's coming out, that like some of it's overplayed and stuff, but some of it's like really good and still hits, and like yeah, acid, and I don't know, I like everything, so it makes it hard to kind of just focus on one thing all the time, so
Just kidding.
yeah, I would love to play a set in Antarctica. I've watched the documentary, the Herzog documentary, that's like I forget, something at like the end of the earth or whatever. And I remember like seeing the like Waddell seals like with like the high pitched frequencies, and I always thought it would be so cool to play a set in like an Arctic icy environment and kind of mimicking or inspired by the Waddell seals. Just because I don't know, yeah, there's something very interesting to me about this like animal that is producing this very kind of electronic sound almost, and I always feel like I'm really interested in the kind of tension between like the organic and the inorganic. I think you see that also with like in the rainforest, there'll be like bird calls that sound like lasers, like like it's just like crazy stuff like that, like the sounds of nature. So yeah, I think it would be really cool to play something in Antarctica, like that sort of themed on that dynamic of like organic and inorganic sounds, if that makes sense at all. So I think for me, my ideal dance floor and what I like you know, the DJ gig of my dreams, I'm thinking of like just moments in my life where I've been raving with friends that are like burned into my brain that I like will take with me to the grave, which, you know, you always want to kind of replicate or chase those highs. And I think of moments like Club Toilet when I was raving, you know, just like with my friends at like 7 a.m. and hearing like Avalon Emerson and Carlos Souffrant, and like these moments where like I can just distinctly remember like looking around and like seeing all of my closest friends like smiling, and everyone is just like euphoric and feeling just like totally liberated and like free, and in those moments and like so sweaty from dancing so hard. So I feel like that to me is like the ideal, where you're just like kind of like on this roller coaster of a ride. That's like the best night, and you end up dancing all night and just riding that high into the morning. I mean, that's like the dream. So yeah, I feel like that's like always like what I aspire to, is like that kind of like rave euphoria. But you know, you don't always get to have that. You don't always get to party all night. So. Most promoters, I think, just view parties as money-making machines, and I think for queers especially, you know, the club can mean so much more than that. Like, I feel like, especially parties like Queen, where there is like an actual community that is formed around like a weekly party that's like an institution. It's like church for people, like it's our third space. It's it's like where we gather and as family and stuff. Like I've met my current partner through partying. I've met some of my best friends in the entire world through partying. Like I think it's pretty safe to say that like I wouldn't be here or like alive if like finding music and partying and dancing like didn't just keep me going in like those really tough moments. So I think that, like, you know, there's a lot of parties and promoters that are, especially at this stage of, you know, dance music culture, whatever you want to call it, that are kind of capitalizing on the culture that POC, and specifically queer POC people, have built, but in a way that is obviously in no way connected to the source of that culture. So I think that, like, you know, if you operate a club or a space and, you know, you obviously, you know, we live under capitalism, you have to keep the lights on. I understand that. But at the same time, if there's a way for you to also pay homage or at least create a space for, you know, the queer POC individuals that allow you to even operate a club in the first place, or, you know, that are the foundation of the music that gets pumped through your sound system, maybe it's worth pursuing that just on the basis of, you know, being a good steward of a cultural institution. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Maybe think beyond the dollar signs. Yeah, I mean, I certainly, I know what care doesn't look like. I think it definitely, you know, I think that drugs are a real issue in the scene, and there's been instances at parties where, you know, someone maybe has like become unconscious and no one has stepped in to help them, or, you know, the music keeps going, or like the person's friends are nowhere to be found. Maybe someone is like had a little bit too much to drink or something, and the person is left alone and has to be escorted out from security. So I think for me, like and this is something that I really emphasize in any event that I'm putting on, is that this element of like mutual care and looking out for one another on the dance floor. And, you know, there's also, because, like, you know, there's an element of like harm reduction that I think is like becoming more widespread, and I think that's a really good thing. But at the same time, like you know, you can have like a thing of Narcan on a table somewhere. I think that's great and really important. At the same time, I also think like it sometimes doesn't even need to get to that point. Like I think that like if we look out for each other, and if you see your friend, maybe they're getting more drunk, maybe you can just say like, hey, like, you know, let's get a water, like let's just chill out for a little bit and sober up a little bit, you know. Looking out for each other, I think those little, you know, and just those little acts, I think, is what to me looks like care for each other as just fellow community members and partygoers. Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't ever escalate into something really dramatic and messy. So that's what I think.
Stop, it's so pretty. Stop, it's so pretty.
Stankbugz today. I'm gonna say Stankbugz. You gotta support Stankbugz. Stankbugz. Because we don't really have a like radio kind of institution in Chicago that there's nothing like it. So I think like it provides a platform for like more up and coming DJs. It's super accessible to really anyone who wants to do a show. Stankbugz. It's extremely professional. Stankbugz. And we don't have anything like that. So Stankbugz. Yeah, I think it's really important to support kind of independent DIY media sources right now, especially ones that are local and put on by, you know, people in your community. So I would say, yeah, it's really important to support things like Stankbugz. Like we don't have anything like lot radio or, you know, kind of like or even like spaces that are like some cities, they have like a bar that also functions as like a radio space that like Disney DJs can drop into. So yeah, when I found out about Stankbugz, I was like extremely excited and happy with like their mission and what they were doing. And so that's why I kind of wanted to do a stream and also come on here and talk to you guys. So yeah, go Stankbugz. Yes.